This is a practice run of a presentation to be given to the NEOPC, Northeast Ohio PC Users Club, on January the 10th, 2018. So the original presentation was given on the same subject, searching the internet, March 11th, 2015. And on January 10th, as you can see, we're going to make a little bit of a change. The projector is now widescreen, so that you're going to get to see a little more of what there is to see. Searching the internet is still the same thing, but there are a lot of changes in the last 3 years. These are just some plugs that were in the original presentation, so I'm leaving them in. NEOPC holds a monthly luncheon on the second Tuesday of every month from 11:30 to whenever we get done. The locations vary by the month. And you need to contact Lenore Brockman at this email address if you want to go. And you'll get on a list and you'll get a reminder mailing every month of where the luncheon is going to be. Our steering committee, which determines a lot of things about what we're going to do in the future for the club, meets monthly on the first Thursday at 9:30 a.m. at the Fairview Park Senior Center. All club members are invited to attend this, and we have coffee and donuts. Meeting usually lasts about an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on what kind of business we have to talk about. So, the most use, fun, and satisfaction you can get from a computer, and I added or other connected device because most people today are searching on their phones or on their tablets too, so we're going to cover those devices also. Depends a good deal on your internet searching skills. Searching the Internet presentation for NEOPC November 11th, 2015 and January 10th, 2018. So, this doesn't have to sink in very much for most of us. What do you mean all my facts are wrong? I copied everything straight from the internet. A great man once said, trust but verify. He wasn't really talking about the internet at the time, but it really is very apropos for the internet, even more so today than it was in 2015 when I did the original presentation. A good deal of what you find on the internet is biased at best, intentionally slanted at worst. So you really do need to be careful of what you find on the internet. And we're talking primarily about social things. Facts are facts, but the way they're presented can give you a very different opinion. As we go through the presentation, you're going to find slides that have blue stars down in the bottom left-hand corner. Those mean that you have links to the backup documentation on what that slide is about, or a lot more information, because there is so much to cover here. Can't get it all, and if a particular item interests you, you can read more by going to that website. These are all active links. It's on a PDF that is available on the NEOPC forum. So there are several pages. The blue stars represent links that were from the original presentation. The red stars represent links that are added slides and added information for the 2018 presentation. And there's another page which we won't even worry about. So you find those when you go to the NEOPC forum. under General Information, and then go to PowerPoint YouTube Presentations. And then you'll find that there's a topic, and this was a presentation given September 10th general meeting, and those are associated links. It won't look exactly like this because there'll be a PDF listed, and also there will be a link for this YouTube video. We're going to convert this to a YouTube video, this talk that you're seeing currently. Perhaps you're seeing it on YouTube. So how do I find that, and even that? Well, that is the challenge and thrill of the search. And I changed that word search to finding the facts. Not all your search results are going to give you the actual facts. So if you're going to search the internet, we assume that you already have access to the internet, but you're going to need a web browser, which furnishes you privacy and security, and is the interface to the internet and interprets everything that you see so that your device can give you a visual of it. And then you're going to need a search engine. A search engine is what gathers information based on the query that you have made, and hopefully will give you information integrity. And we'll talk about that as we go through this entire presentation. So web browsers, and here we're looking at the big four web browsers. Chrome is Google's entry into the browser arena, and on this end you have Safari, which is Apple's entry. Firefox is open source for everything, and primarily has been the gold standard on and off for the last almost decade. And then you have Microsoft, who has not done very well with their browsers. We're talking about Edge and Internet Explorer. But these are the big four. And this particular article compares in 2017, the updated versions in 2017. And the winners at that point, the best, actually was a tie between Firefox and Chrome. I use both of them on a regular basis, as well as some other ones. They probably, one of those should be part of your list of available browsers. But there are lots of other browsers that you can use, and this is just a few of them. This is one other one that you should consider. It's a Tor browser, the Onion browser. It was developed for the U.S. Navy to keep communications secure. And basically, Tor browsers send your requests and the responses through a myriad of servers and computers, virtually impossible to track. And I say virtually because if the CIA really needs to, and you are a person of interest and they want to spend a lot of money, they probably can find you. But in general, using a Tor browser is very safe. And you can read more about the entire Tor project. And again, it is an open source project, which means there's no cost involved ever. Now, similar to that is a virtual private network, which means not just your browser, but your email and a variety of other things. When you send anything from your computer out and get anything in, it comes through basically these company servers, which are stationed all over the world, and really makes it impossible to intercept your information. These are ones that are considered the best. They all have cost associated with them, anywhere from $3.29 a month with a 24-month subscription up to this one probably is most expensive, $6.67 a month. This one, ExpressVPN, is considered today probably the best of the VPN, virtual private networks. If you think that you want to feel really, really, really secure in what you're doing on the internet, you really should consider a virtual private network. There are some free ones out there. They limit your speed typically, and they also have a limit on how much information you can send over them. So if you're going to use them a lot, you're probably going to have to pay to get anything that's worthwhile. Okay, this article goes into what are considered the best search engines of 2017. If you go to this link, there's a list of 10, I believe, on this particular page. And LifeWire does a really good job in these kinds of lists, quite trustworthy. And obviously they're going to recommend one of the big three, although it's now considered really the big two because Bing has taken over Yahoo. So basically your Yahoo searches are now Bing searches. But there are literally hundreds of other search engines. Some of them are just general, some of them are very specific to searching for this or that. Ones that you might want to consider. The big thing about these is that they don't put cookies or they don't do tracking of your searches. Cookies are the reason that when you look for any particular product on the internet, all of a sudden ads start showing up for those particular products. That all happens through cookies, which we'll mention later on in the presentation. They don't save your search history. And they are meta search engines, which means they search search engines rather than having their own set of parameters. They search search engines for results. Dogpile has been around a very, very long time. It really was the first search engine I ever used, and I've started to use it again. Gives you a little different results, and I get tired of seeing the same old ads again. So Dogpile is a great one. DuckDuckGo has gotten a lot of press recently as a great search engine. And FindX is new, and they're supposed to be the ultimate, and we'll see. But they're making a push to be the alternate browser for everyone. Again, you can go to any of their websites and explore them and see what you think. There's a European search engine called Quant. Gives you a little different search results, basically. Absolutely does not track any of your search history, and there are absolutely no cookies involved in it. I used it a couple times just to try it out, and it seems pretty good. They have specialized searches for social media and images and video and shopping and music and so on. Interesting read, if nothing else, if you want to see what the Europeans are doing. And we'll talk a little later on in the presentation of why. So, some of the specialized search engines. This one has to do with, there are 6 search engines that are listed in this article for searching social media, for content as well as for people. So you can find who's posting what, where, about what. People search used to be an easy, free thing. Not so free anymore. This first one will give you a list of some basic free ones, and the second one is the review of the best people searches, and you can get them for a buck or two that really do give you a fair amount of information. So if you're hunting down people, you want to take a look at these two links for sure. Music, and again, there are lots and lots of music search sites out there. This one said that they did 16, but the article says they did 30, which they did. 16 are the best ones. You may have your favorite one already. If not, you can look here and you can find search engines that will specifically go after a genre if that's what you need. And again, there are tons of search engines that are related to just movies and or TV shows. This is a great one, and it does encompass all of these and more. Some of it's free, some of it you have to pay for, but it has probably as much content as any that I've seen. Certainly you need to think about cutting the cords these days because of the cost of TV from Spectrum and Cox and whatever continues to go up, and there's no end in sight for that. They just don't get it. So these are going to be part of your future probably. Ebooks. Finding good ebooks. You can find almost any ebook that you want to find. Almost any book that you want to find. Project Gutenberg stated that their goal was to get every book that's ever been put in print available as an ebook. They're working on it. They're good because and many books are very good because they have them in so many different formats depending on the e-reader that you have. They may have a book in 10 different formats. So good place to start. There are several of them that are dedicated to, and you can consider these search engines that are dedicated to finding books that you want to read. I've listed the free ones here, but there are also pay-for ones. So freeware, software for your computer. Used to be I recommended several different sites. Basically, Night Night anymore is probably the best. And the reason is they don't have any crapware, which means when you install it, all of a sudden you aren't going to find a new toolbar, or you aren't going to find a program, or that your antivirus has been changed, or any of that sort of thing. They actually clean the program up if there are things like that involved, and then make them available here. And again, this is just a short list of what they have available in freeware. In addition to that, they have a program that if you run it once a month, it'll check all the programs that you have gotten from them, and if there's an update available, it'll get the update, download it, and install it for you. Great site. Hope they don't ever go out of business. Okay, for those of you that like to cook, cooking is a hobby, or just must cook, you're usually always looking for recipes. When I did this originally in 2015, I recommended Big Oven. They had, at the time, I think over 350,000 different recipes. Today I'm using Yumly, who has even more and is organized a little better, I think. So either one of those two, if you're looking for recipes or something good to eat, great place to start. There are lots more search engines out there that do similar things, but I think those are two of the best. So in 2015, when I originally did this, Apple had issued a statement that they were going to come up with a search engine called Spotlight, which is also part of their operating system, that would crush Google. And that's what they said. In September of 2017, Google paid Apple $3 billion to remain as their only default search engine in all of their operating systems. $3 billion, that's a lot of money, folks. Google must get something for that, you would think. This was part of the original presentation. Google basically was when you looked for downloads, they would list first the downloads where you could download what you were looking for that contained no crapware. And they're still doing that to the best I can determine. I download a lot of things other than Night Night, so I have a chance to explore all of that. Evernote. For those of you that do a lot of searching and need the results on an ongoing basis, this is a absolute must-have. It's a free, could evolve into, if you use it a ton, and I mean it would have to be almost commercial level because everything is stored on a cloud, but it makes it available to you obviously anywhere with any device in the world. You can set this up in folders and any way that you want to on the cloud to keep track of, and the Evernote will show up on your browser interface and whatever, and you can just save things, pieces of things, whole pages, whole sites, whole everything directly. An excellent service if you do a lot of searching and you really need to organize your results. So in 2015, when I did the original, we typed into Google, learn how to search the internet, and got 935 million results. Did the same search when I was putting this together, and we got 540 million results. But that's down 395 million hits. Obviously, their logarithm changed dramatically. So you can take from that anything that you want to take from that, but they are filtering things more than they used to. Now, for those that are geeks in our audience, or just curious like I am, I don't call myself a geek, this article is the best I ever found that tells you exactly how a search engine works. This certainly is not required to use search engines, but it's interesting reading, so it's there if you want to look at it. On the other hand, those that need help with searching sometimes can ask their children or their grandchildren, and they can do a very good job very quickly and very inexpensively, other than you have to probably give them dinner. Searching is really a very personal thing. Actually, when you hear any presentation about computers and technology, it always reflects the presenter's viewpoint, how they do things, how they like things, what type of equipment they prefer. So it's personal in that way, and it may not be your way. And what we're interested in here is what makes your life better, easier, faster, what it is that you want from your computer, your equipment. So as we present things here, they may not be exactly right for you, and you need to keep that in mind as you do it. There's no right way to do internet searches. There are a lot of ways to do it, but there's no right way, as witnessed by over 900 million people telling you how to do searches. When you're doing searches, you probably need to know some terms that you're not familiar with, and this is absolutely the best site I've ever found to give you a list of terms and good explanations when you find the term and they're alphabetized. by, and again, internet terms, hardware terms, software terms, technical terms, file formats, etc. So they're alphabetized. You go through the list, you find it, you click on it, and it'll give you a definition that is in terms that should be easy to understand. Great site. You need to keep this one. You should probably put it in your bookmarks. So as you're doing these searches, and we've mentioned crapware a couple times, if accidentally you get an extra toolbar or whatever, or more ads start showing up, or what things that you don't like, you should run this program. Now, in 2015, when I did this originally, it was available as a standalone from the author of the program, although Bleeping Computer is a great website. If you're not familiar with it, it really is something you should get, at least look at anyhow. They have a lot of programs under downloads here. They have tutorials on how to do things. They have virus removal. They have a lot of good information at Bleeping Computer. They still have the link to Adware Cleaner, although Adware Cleaner now has been purchased by Malwarebytes, although they've kept it as a separate program. After you've been on the internet, depends on how much you use the internet, but I run this periodically. It doesn't take long to run, and it finds a lot of things that the other folks don't find. So again, it's free, it's quick. Why wouldn't you? Cookies. This article, if you go there, will explain exactly what a cookie is. And all you need to know is when you visit websites, they're going to put a cookie into your computer so that when you come back, they'll have information about you, what you looked for, and all that sort of thing. Very annoying. You've probably got thousands in your computer. You can choose not to get any cookies, and then it makes searching a little more difficult. So cleaning cookies on a regular basis is also a good thing, and programs like CCleaner will clean cookies for you. Won't get them all, but it'll clean the majority. And there are settings inside your computer on whether you're going to accept third-party cookies or not. Enough for a whole other meeting if we would have one on cookies. Okay, so when you find information on the internet, you want to know whether it's true or not. So there are a bunch of sites. This says that there are 500 alternatives to Snoops, which used to be the go-to definitive site for most people. And you would put in the information and want to know whether it is true or false or whatever. Turns out that most of these sites have bias also. And Snoops has been dramatically proven wrong several times recently, which can happen, but they refuse to accept the facts. So anyhow, it should be part of your repertoire. Just because they say it's true or false doesn't mean it's true or false. They can bend the facts to fit their narrative. So, but it is a tool that you should have in your toolbox. You should also have a throwaway email account, and throwaway to the point. There are a lot of times when you're searching, and in order to get the information you want, you have to sign up and you have to give them an email address. Well, you need to have an email address that all your junk mail goes to. Don't clog up your regular email mailbox with junk mail. So there are lots and lots and lots of free ones out there. And you can have more than one. I think I have 5 or 6 or more Gmail accounts that I use for different purposes. no limit to what you can have, and if you do, then you need an email client such as Thunderbird to consolidate and get them all in one place. But you need to have a throwaway email address. Mobile search engines. You don't need to necessarily use the same search engine on your mobile phone or on your tablet that you use on your computer. This site, and again, it's from LifeWire, who I like, lists some of the mobile search engines that they think are the best. And it has to do with the limited horsepower typically that you have versus your computer. How to search Google, and Google actually has a fairly good site on how to search Google, and actually works for any search engine, but this page is worth looking at if you want some tips. This one is by the Tech Republic, and another very reliable site to look at for information on the internet. Use your voice to search Google. Most people aren't aware of that. If you're using Chrome and you have Google as your search engine, in the middle of the page shows up, search Google or type the URL in there. But over on the right-hand side, there's a little microphone. And if you click on that, you can search by voice, which, if you do a lot of searching, is easier. And if you change the search parameters slightly because you don't see the results that you wanted, searching by voice, obviously, some of you are using Siri now, some are using Cortana, some use Alexa. There's a lot of voice searching going on, so you're going to get more and more used to doing voice searches. So why not use it on your device as well? So you can't find the exact description word that you need to get the results that you're looking for. And I know this sounds a little childish, perhaps even, but it's not. Moms Who Think cite a list of adjectives, and we're talking tens of thousands of them related to, and they do it by category. Adjectives, verbs, things to do with people and personality. The list goes on, what they have, how it's broken down. And if you just can't come up with the right word to search for what you're looking for, if it's really missing, you're missing it, this is a good place to go and find the right word. So keywords and concepts, when you're searching the internet, you need to know who, descriptors, what, how to, how much versus how little versus when, why not, where, review. These are all things that you can put into a search that help narrow it down to find what you're looking for quickly. If you have enough patience, you usually can find it, but an hour later, you're worn out. So, an example. Madame Curie, Mary Curie, I couldn't remember her name, so how do I find her? Who? She was a woman scientist. I know that she won a Nobel Prize, had something to do with radium. She discovered radioactivity in the early 1900s, and in France, I think. So those are the things that I'm pretty sure of, and I just can't remember the person's name. So we put into the search engine, woman scientist radium, and the first results of 477,000 indeed had her name in it. So we do woman scientist Nobel Prize, and lo and behold, 520,000 results, and the first result had her name in it. Woman scientist France, we had to go to the third result, but it started with her name. So those were all fairly good. So then we did woman scientists of the 20th century. And interestingly enough, all 4 of these results had her name somewhere. If you clicked on it and followed the links and wanted to spend some time, you could find it. The first one showed a list, and it was by discipline, and she was under chemistry, and it had her maiden name here, who she was Polish, actually, and married into French. So not as easy to find that way for sure. So, and the second one, she actually turned up number 1 with the second search result. Finding things entertainment. So you want to know, is it a book, a poem, a song? You're looking for an image. Are you looking for a painting? You're looking for a video. What genre is it? Who's the artist? Where, when? Uniqueness, descriptors, formats, all things that when you're hunting down entertainment are important to know. So again, at trial 1, I knew the answer, but we'll do it anyhow. It was about a book written about New Orleans in the 60s, and it won a Pulitzer Prize. So I put that in, and those are the answers. And the first 4 results gave me what I was looking for. Confederacy of Dunces was the name of the book. So sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. So Google has, and some of the other search engines have this capability also, but if you do a search for, say, radioactivity, when you do the search, it comes up, and the first thing here it says is web, and those are the things on the web about radioactivity, and there are almost 9.5 million results there. But next to that, it says images. If you click on that, it takes you to images, and there are pages and pages of images of things that have to do with radioactivity. Next to that is videos. And lo and behold, you've got 432,000 videos that have to do with radioactivity. News about radioactivity, things that currently are going on. There were 25,000 things. Books that were written about radioactivity, almost 3 million. It just narrows things down for you substantially. And most people aren't aware that Google has all of these other searches. Shopping. Who would think that there's something shopping under radioactivity? But indeed there is. Signs, basically. Although this is a book on measurement principles and so on. So even more. There are apps to do with radioactivity, 35,000 of them actually, and you can turn your phone into a Geiger counter for $5 or $2.50. Anyhow, there are a lot of apps. So this is Google Scholar, and if you're going to use Google Scholar, these are papers that are sitting in a college library somewhere, most of it, that really don't get quoted on the when you do a regular search on the internet. So you go to Google Scholar, and it goes through all of those. And it found 1.5 million of them hiding in the libraries. And another specialty that they have is their patent search, which is separate from their other searches. And when you do patents radioactivity, it goes to Google Patents, and 2.3 million patents that have to do with radioactivity. So yeah, you would really have to narrow it down if you want to find a specific thing. Google also has Google Maps, so we did search for our club, and it says your club is located there, which that actually is the home of one of the founding members of NEOPC from eons ago, back in the early 80s. We probably should change that one of these days, although I'm not going to put mine up there. And Google has a thing called advanced search, and it really breaks things down into what language, what region, date of updates. It really gets very specific as to what you're looking for. These are just some of the specialized searches of Google. Probably the most useful one is YouTube, but books, news, Picasa no longer, but it's Google Photos now, actually. There's all kinds of things that you can search very specifically for things. One that I use on a fairly regular basis that most people are not aware of is called Google Alerts. So if you have a subject that, and one of the subjects that I use is new viruses on the internet. And you can choose a delivery time when you want, and it will acquire anything since the last time it looked for you, any articles that are new. And you choose when to deliver them and how. Do you want them individually? Do you want it in a digest? How do you want them delivered to you? And it just goes on forever. So if you want to stay current on a particular topic, you can go to Google Alerts, and here's the address for it here, and that'll take you right to it. And it'll now you need to have a Gmail account, but it will show up in your inbox on the schedule that you tell them you want it in your inbox. So if you're looking for a product, you're looking to buy something, you need the part number, maybe, manufacturer, description, color, size, number of units, price, shipping, FOB, tax, is there tax, when is it going to ship, somebody have to pay insurance. There are all kinds of things that you can put in your search to narrow your search. So I was looking on Groupon, and they had a Nikon camera that is a really great camera, and I thought maybe that would be something I'd like to have. The price was $399, which I thought was a great price. So I clicked on it here to take you to their page, the Groupon page on it. Most people are unaware when you're on a page like this, you can highlight, and we highlighted what it is. It's a Nikon D3300, 24 megapixel with an 1855 millimeter lens. So you highlight that and right click, and then you go to search Google for that. And when you do that, it'll take you here. And it just saves you having to type all that stuff in whatever. So these are, they identify ads over here. They say ads. And then over here, these are also paid for by somebody. And prices go anywhere $3.99 up to $5.29. On eBay, you would think eBay would be the lowest guy, but not. Of course, they're showing it as a kit, and I don't know if you've ever bought a camera on the internet. Don't buy a kit. They charge a lot of money, and usually the stuff is junk, and you can buy all those things individually for a lot less money. Neither here nor there. But look at this. There's the camera for $279. So for 120 bucks, I am going to try and explore that a little bit. So I click on that. And it takes me to this site. I've never heard of these people, IBCart, but it is what I'm looking for. $279, that is the price. It looks fairly legit. I don't see anything about shipping here, which I have found in the past. When you find low prices like this, typically the shipping makes up most of the difference. Maybe yes, maybe no. But I'm interested in knowing more about this company. So I look them up on the internet, IBCart, do a search. and a quick look, and learning to read the results quickly and come up with the one that you want to click on is a little bit of a learned skill. You scan for certainly what you put in to search for, make sure that that's in there. And this one just drew my eye right away at 1 star. That doesn't sound good to me at all. So I clicked on that, and it takes you here. And looking at this quickly, apparently this company goes by several different names and ships secondhand, non-functional products on the internet. Whoa, that doesn't sound very good. And we got an address for them, so let's find that address, take a look and see where they're at. That's just something that my curiosity in that area usually pays off. So when we do a Google map search for it, we find them, and this, knowing the area a little bit, U.S. Department of State and AT&T, this is high rent district, typically not where you would find a camera store. And in looking at that address specifically, it really is a gorgeous, large office building. Apparently they rent suites in that. No, that's not where cameras come from. Trust me, that's not where cameras come from. But anyhow, I did contact us for this IB card, and the only thing they have for contact is an email address. Well, and it's just contact. That's not good. If you can't get hold of them by phone, my normal rule is you don't want to buy anything very pricey from them. Back to the page, and I still found one that was less money than the one I originally looked at. Then $30 is $30. So we go there, and free shipping, that's good. In fact, I know that well, Groupon has free shipping on anything over $40. So, but free shipping, okay. Let's find out about this company a little bit. And when you start reading the history, it rang a bell with me. I had purchased from these people before, and you see all of the big names there, and they're giving rebates on some of the products, and that all looks good to me. Contact them, and lots of different phone numbers, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is a very legitimate company, and I'm willing to spend my $369 there. Can wear you out doing all of this. A lot of clicking around and a lot of thinking and whatever, but hey, if you can save a couple bucks, and I get a little enjoyment out of being a winner in that area, so makes it worthwhile. And the reality is, the better you get at it, the less time it takes. So practice, practice, practice. And I still believe with the right experience and unlimited time, you can find anything you are looking for on the net. Oh, remember, it's not wishful thinking that you found the results that you want. It's trust but verify. Trust but verify can be very important. Wishful thinking sometimes can get you in serious trouble. So, getting medical advice online. This article was in Forbes back in 15, still holds true, and the people that they recommend is still the people that I would recommend. Trust but verify, and get a second opinion and a third and maybe even a fourth, and then go see your doctor. But when you talk to your doctor, you're going to have a much better idea of what you're talking about. Fix things. So if you're a do-it-yourselfer, I went into a lot of detail the last time I did this, but let me just say that anything you own, there probably somebody has made a video and put it on YouTube of how to fix it. from washing machines to cameras to doorbells. It's all there, even computers. The only thing they don't have is the final fix for Windows 10. I don't think there is one, that's why. Anyhow, if you're looking to fix something, you're going to do it yourself, do yourself a favor, go to YouTube first, get pretty specific on what you're trying to repair by model number, by name, and what you're trying to do to it. And you'll probably find somebody that's put a video up that has had the problem and has fixed the problem. Saves a lot of time and money. So, shopping on the internet, if you're not adventurous and want to do it yourself, Shopify has a list here of the 10 best shopping comparison engines out there. It's a good list and can be helpful when you're looking for big things in particular. The deep, dark web. Again, back in 15, I went into some detail on this. All I'm going to say here is don't go there. But if you do, be careful. And if you do, read this first on how stuff works. And it will get you there as safely as you can get there. I can't imagine there's much other than curiosity that would take you to the deep, dark web. And if you have children around the house, your own or grandchildren or just visitors or whatever, try and remember that young minds are very curious and they know how to use the equipment. And you never know what they might find out there. So, if your computer has the opportunity to be used on a regular basis by younger people, you may want to put parental control software. The computers themselves and the browsers themselves used to have parental controls. 10 does to some degree, but you're really much better off if you're really concerned about it to look into one of these various ones, and they go anywhere from $15 up to $100, depending. So, of course, that one's Disney, so no wonder it cost $100. So, may all your searches take very little time and give you spot-on results. Trust but verify. Okay, I've debated on adding this section to it, and I decided I needed to. I've revised it several times. This is not a discussion of politics, and I don't care whether you're liberal or conservative. You deserve factual information and information you asked for, not what someone wants to give you and that you think you wanted to hear. So, the bias of search engines is well known, and there is no doubt about that. This little graphic I ran across, it's very current, and it shows the bias of some of the media, whether they're left or right or in the center, or what they basically are. Pretty much the way I see it, but not everyone would agree. And again, it depends on your personal feelings, but that really shouldn't come into anything when you're searching the internet. So a staggering fact is that there are 6 companies that own 90% of all media, and we're talking about newspapers and television stations and radio stations and publishers of magazines and makers of movies and all of that. There are only 6 companies that own 90% of that. National Amusement, Disney, Time Warner, CBS, Sony, and News Corp. There's an outfit called OpenSecrets.org that combs through all of the federal records and filings and whatever and gets statistics on the companies. Of those companies that were listed there, these are political contributions that they've made from 2000 through 2016. The blue represents money that went to the Democratic Party, and the red represents money that went to the Republican Party. Actually, the only one that tilted towards the Republican Party was GE, which now is part of another conglomerate, but still the same group. And they were 60% to conservatives and 40% to liberals, but they contributed to Hillary Clinton $241,000 and to Donald Trump $30,000. So there is, and the media pretty readily agrees that they tilt a little left. Now, here's the article that says, and the numbers and who did the studies and all that kind of stuff. There's more than one out there, but this group says that Google's new algorithm restricts access to left-wing progressive websites. So this guy says they lean left, this guy says they restrict left. When you read it, it all starts to make some sense to you. Google currently has been fined 2.4 billion euros for manipulating search results. That's so trust but verify, folks, and they have a bias. Google recently changed their motto from "Don't be evil" to "Do the right thing." Do the right thing as determined by whom? And why would they change that? What is the meaning of the change? And it's important because Google accounts for almost 87% of the searches that are done in the entire world. So if they're moving you in one direction or another, they're moving a lot of people in that direction. Information integrity. You need to be sure. When you think you have the facts, you need to be sure that those are the facts. Again, as we went through here, you would have saw some blue stars and you saw some red stars. Those are all links, and they're active links. When you pick up that PDF, all you have to do is click on the link and it'll take you to that particular website. That's it. And now we're going to take questions at the live meeting.